want to talk to you about this thing called imagination. And of all the faculties that we deal with for every month, for me, they're all powerful. Every single one of the faculties are powerful. But that faculty of imagination might be the most powerful. And yet, it is probably the faculty that is untapped into consciously the least. And I really want to talk about that. So what is imagination? What is imagination? This is not a rhetorical question. What is imagination? Anyone? Huh? Visualization. One of the ministers, you gonna come up here and preach the sermon too, right? No, I'm just joking. What is imagination? Come on, talk to me. Visual thought. Visual thought. What is it? No, pure imagination. That's what the song just talked about. Well, my scripture for today, in keeping with visual thought, and what did you say, Rev Dab? Visualization, is going to be Proverbs and no limitation. Proverbs 29:18. And it says there, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And when we think about it, the reason we perish, we fail, the reason we perish, the reason we fail is because we're not manifesting the desires of our hearts. We're not manifesting the desires of our hearts. And the reason we're not manifesting the desires of our hearts is because we have no vision. Or let me rephrase that. We do have vision, but we have double vision. Okay? There's a thing called spiritual vision and that imagination, but then there's a thing called our visual vision. Now, I'm not saying that you need to denounce or deny what you visually see, but you have to understand that our spiritual vision supersedes our physical vision. And if you get caught up with double vision, putting more power in the physical than you do in the spiritual, you will never, ever reach your goal. So today I want to talk about manifesting your visions, manifesting that imagination, manifesting those things that go on in your mind's eye. We put so much importance on what we see with our physical eyes. And like I said, our senses are there for a reason. When we say this is not to say that you deny the physical senses. Okay, that would be ludicrous. But what we are to do is understand that there's a spiritual realm and that there's a physical realm. Now, anything that you can think of, I don't care what it is, anything that you can think of was first made in the field of imagination. Someone thought it up. Even when God said, let there be light, that was done. He saw darkness and he said, you know what? There's got to be light. And he spoke the word light and there was light. It started as a thought. Everything, the chairs that you're sitting in, the iPad that Shay was just talking about today, everything started as a thought first. But see, what happens is we start with a thought, but so often we abort the thought. We get worried and fearful and doubtful and don't believe that powerful vision that God has placed on you. We have so many thoughts. Let me ask you a question. I'm not trying to put anyone on Front Street. So everybody just look at me. Don't look to your left or to your right, okay? Just look at me. Look up, look up, look up, look up. How many of you have had a wonderful idea in your life? How many of you are still sitting on that wonderful idea? You see, you have that vision. God has spoken something to you. God has given you something, but you fail to take action on it because of your physical vision. Because of what's going on in the physical realm, You failed to take action on what you saw in the spiritual realm. So today I want to focus in on how we can strengthen our spiritual vision, that faculty of imagination. You know, we say that we're made what? In the image and likeness of God. Now, what does that mean? Doesn't mean that God has hands and God has feet, except for the hands and feet that God uses through us. We're not talking about an anthropomorphic God, a physical being. We're talking about a spiritual being. So that means that we're spirit first. What do we talk about? And we talk about it all the time here. There was two births, two creation stories. The spiritual and then the physical. What came first? The spiritual. When God created man in his image and according to his likeness. And then he used the clay of the earth and formed them physically. That's to tell us that we're spiritual beings first. So everything that is created starts in the spirit realm first and then manifests in the physical realm. So now, in Scripture, there's a place where we talk about heaven and earth. Heaven and earth. And even in the Lord's Prayer, it says, in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. Y'all know that? On earth as it is in heaven. I really want to talk about this heaven and earth. And it's all going to come together. Heaven is a state of consciousness in harmony with the thoughts of God. Heaven is everywhere present in its orderly, lawful adjustment of God's kingdom in man's mind, body, and affairs. So it starts in heaven. Heaven is not a destination, okay? People saying that they want to be in heaven, you start in heaven with your thoughts. And you manifest it on earth through your actions. So heaven is a state of consciousness. To be exact, there's two states of existence, heaven and earth. Heaven being the ideal, the imagined, and earth meaning the manifestation, when it makes it into the physical realm. Do you get that? I'm going to say that again. Heaven and earth, two states of existence. The ideal, the imagined, and the manifestation. We're going to be dealing with that physical, but more importantly, what's going on in the mind. And I point up here, I shouldn't do that, because the mind is all around us, okay? So I want to make a demonstration. Terry, I need you up here. And Lawrence, you come up here. Now, for full disclosure, I am thoroughly into a minister by the name of I.V. Hilliard. And this was a demonstration that he did that blew me away. And I thought that it would be a good way for you to understand what I'm talking about, the two realms of existence. Will you grab that? Let's spread it out. I'm a little tall here. Spread that out. All right. Stand over a little bit. Now, I want you to understand there's two realms of existence. We said heaven and earth, all right? Ideal, imagined, and then the physical, the manifestation. God created everything in the spirit realm. The spirit realm is back here, okay? This is the physical realm where things are manifested. So there's the spiritual realm, and then there's the physical realm, the manifestation. We get so caught up in what's going on over here that we don't focus on what's over here. We're blinded to the spiritual realm because we're focusing on what our physical eyes can see in the physical realm. But see, understand something. We said nothing has been created that wasn't first created where? In the spiritual realm. Did we say some things? We said nothing has been created that wasn't first created in the spiritual realm. So whether you call it the imagination, if you call it thought, we have to know what it is. We have to know that this is the spiritual vision. And if we begin to trust our spiritual vision, we will have manifestations of the good that we desire in our lives. Now, I want you to understand something. Just because you can't see what's in this realm doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Can you see me right now? But I'm still here. Do you understand that? Just because you can't see what's on this side doesn't mean that it will not manifest on this side. To be exact, there's more over here that God has in store for you than you've ever experienced over here. What you have to understand is that you need to trust this side so that you can see it on this side. But see, what we're doing, we're dealing with the appearance, what we see over here. So if over here we're broke, that's all we see. But we forget that God has riches that are greater than anything that we have over here. If we get a diagnosis of being sick over here, we understand by his stripes we are healed over here. See, what we're doing is trusting what's going on over here and not trusting what's going on over here. Because we have not worked on our spiritual vision. We're dealing with double vision. So you get a vision. Y'all raise your hand and say that you have an idea. You have a thought. You have a vision. But it's not over here. Because what you see over here is overwhelming you. What you see over here is depressing you. What you see over here is keeping you stuck over here and not focused on working over here. What I want to work on today is making sure that you're focusing on the spiritual side so that you can see the manifestation in the physical side. So, I have 7 things that I want you to think about. And if you work on these 7 things, you will not only see it over here, but you'll see it in the physical. Do you remember the old saying that I had? See it, say it, believe it, see it. Say that with me. See it, say it, believe it, see it. Come on, say it again. See it, say it, believe it, see it. That's all. Listen, I can go over this. I'm going to go over this. That's all you need to know. You got to see it in the spiritual realm. God didn't create anything. When he said, let there be light, he spoke it. Okay? He said, let there be light. He spoke light forth. So you see it, say it, but if you see it and say it and you don't believe it, you will not see it. It's a 4-part thing. You got to see it, say it, believe it, and see it. So how do we work on these things? Like I said, I have 7 points. The first point, don't share your vision with visionless people. Don't share God's vision for you with people that are blinded, that can't see. Because, now listen, I'm not saying that you talk about them. I'm not even saying that you avoid them. Because they're there for a reason in most cases. But it doesn't mean that they're there for you to share what God has for you with them. You see, when you share your vision, and Jesus talked about it, casting your pearls amongst the swine, okay? Or so that it will be trampled over. When you cast that vision that God has given you with someone that is visionless, they'll tell you all the reasons why it can't happen. They will help you to abort that vision before you give it time to have birth. They will have you kill that and go back to your old way of being. Now, some people, let's be honest, there's some people that don't want to see you do well. They were with you when you were doing bad, they're doing bad, and they still want to see you doing bad. Now, those are the people that you want out of your life. Let me tell you something. This is a sidebar here. What you had in your past doesn't mean that you need to bring it into your future. Okay? And I don't just mean things that you have. Some people will purge and do spring cleaning, but still carrying those people and old thoughts from the past and trying to bring it into their future. And they wonder why they don't get there. They're not getting there because that was supposed to be left in the past. So don't share your vision with visionless people. Number 2, you want to surround yourself with prayer warriors, people that will pray with you and speak life into your vision. Now, just like those other folks you don't want to say anything to, there's a select few. Now, listen, if you think that you have a bunch of people that you can talk to, you are fooling yourself. In most cases, there's only a few people that you can speak to about your vision. Y'all don't hear me here. Not everyone, I don't care if it's your brother, your sister, your mother, big mama, your father, your spouse, not everyone, listen to me. And I'm not trying to break up any households, but you got to hear me here. Not everyone is prepared to hear your vision. See, some people will hear the vision that God has placed on you and look at you like you're crazy. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're saying it to the people that are going to affirm it, people that are going to pray with you, people that are going to help you to make it to that thing. I know in my life I am blessed. I have a few people, and probably more than most, I got to be honest with you, that I know I can go to and I can share a vision with them. And they're going to pray with me. They're going to talk with me. They're going to encourage me. They're going to keep me on track. And they're seeing more for me sometimes than I see for myself. When we got this church here, you know, I haven't shared with this brother in a while, not because he's not trustworthy, but I just haven't been around him as much. But when God gave me the vision for the church, there was a select few people that I spoke to. A select few. And I'll never forget, on South Cobb, in a Waffle House, I called Jermaine Thompson, and we met right there. And I told him the vision that God had for me. And he encouraged me, and he worked with me so that we could see it into manifestation. Not everyone has a person like that. But you know what? You need to not say anything until you find the people that are going to pray with you and believe with you. If not, just keep it quiet. The third thing, and this is very important, you have to take time daily, at least twice a day, in the morning and before you go to bed, in stillness and in meditation, meditating on your vision. I'm going to tell you something. I can only speak for me. But whenever there's something big that I'm about to do, I really see it. I mean, literally see it. In the morning, I see it. And I lay in bed visualizing what it's going to look like, visualizing what it's going to feel like, visualizing how it's going to tap into and affect those people around me, how I'm going to be able to touch people, provoke thought, and transform lives with whatever that vision is. Now, keep in mind, I always say the litmus test, if it only benefits you, it's not of God. Y'all didn't hear that. Dudes, give me that towel. Give me that towel. I'm sweating up here. It's right behind you in the chair. Bring that over here. Oh, come on. That's what you do? Boy, oh boy. I'm going to say that again. If it only benefits you, it's not of God. Do you hear what I'm saying? Whenever God blesses you, he blesses you so that you can be a blessing. So if you have this selfish desire, don't say, yeah, God has blessed me. No, you created that. And remember, you're going to have to uncreate the mess that comes along with that mess that you created and you called it God. All right? So now, you need to visualize what it's going to look like. You got to visualize what it's going to feel like. I use certain examples, but I know when I was, one day I'm going to do a whole sermon, and one of my prayer warriors is sitting out there, my sister Valerie, when I was going through this house purchase, I needed some prayer warriors. There were some challenges. And the funny thing about your challenges, you ever notice that how your past stuff comes up when you're trying to do what God has you to do? Huh? That past stuff, boy, it just be following you around, sticking to your legs and grabbing a hold of you. I had some past stuff that I was cleaning out and fixing up, but it looked like that house was moving. As I was moving toward it, it looked like it was moving away. And every step I took toward it, it looked like it was moving away. I had to visualize myself. Now, let me tell you what I did. Every single day, unless I was out of town, I would go and look at that lot. I remember a few mornings on the prayer call, I did the prayer call from the construction site where they were building my house. And you may not have known it, but the prayer call was reflective of my faith in seeing in the invisible. You see, I was seeing a hole in the ground, but I was seeing that whole house being erected and being everything that I wanted to be. I was seeing that whole house with people coming and going. See, because I don't believe my house should be a museum. I don't believe my house shouldn't be lived in. I want to do things with people so that they can come into the house so that I can be a blessing with what God has blessed me with. And I saw it. So I'm telling you, every single day, sit down in your quiet time. And let me just say this. I said, in your quiet time. What did I say, Marcel? Yakub? In your what? See, in your quiet time means not with the TV on. Huh? In your quiet time means not with the music V103 blasting. Do you hear what I'm saying? In the quiet time means in that stillness where God can speak to you. God can't speak over Jay-Z. Okay, if you have Desperate Housewives or something else playing in the background, you are more distracted. Once again, you're in that physical realm. You need to be in that spiritual realm. So in your stillness, be with that thought. Be with that vision. And know that God will manifest it. All right, I'm almost done. You got to write it down. Write it down and make it plain. Write it down and make it plain. Write down what it's going to look like. Write down what it's going to feel like. How many of you keep a journal? Every hand should be up. And even if you're not journaling every day, which, I'm not going to say what you should do, but sometimes you need to write these things down. You need to document. Sometimes I look at some old stuff that I've written. I was like, man, I've grown. And sometimes I look at some stuff I've written, I say, man, I went backwards. But it keeps you in check. You look at what you've written, you write it down, saying what it's going to look like. Let me tell you something. I need you to hear me on this. When I was in San Diego, California, before Dr. Barbara called me to Atlanta, I had a vision for InSpirit. And I knew that it was not going to be your traditional place. And I want you to hear something. Everybody was trying to get me to always speak all the time by myself, all the time by myself. You are the one that Dr. Barber called, so you should be. How many different ministers do we have speaking here? Huh? That was a part of my vision. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about personality. It was about individuals that have a message that can speak to people that may not hear it through me. See, there's people that can hear what Terry has to say, but will drown me out. There's people that will hear what Rev Deb has to say, but don't want to hear what Reverend Terry has to say. And our job is to what? Touch people, provoke thought, and transform lives. It's not for Djehuty to touch people, provoke thought, and transform lives. And I saw that vision even before 2000 when I came back here to be with Dr. Barbara. You see, and I wrote it down. Wrote it down. And I look sometimes, some of that stuff is still unfolding. So write it down. So that if nothing else, you'll know it when you see it. When you write it down and make it plain, you'll know it when you see it. Number 5, and I talked about this a few times, don't give up by mentally aborting God's vision in your life. That can happen with the people speaking it to the wrong people, but that can happen with your worry, doubt, and fears. You will mentally abort that vision that God has for you. Sometimes you need to tell yourself to shut up. Huh? Y'all, wait a minute. Y'all don't have that voice to be talking all that crap to you? Am I the only one? No, come on now. Y'all gonna have me in the mental ward. No, come on, y'all know we have stuff that we say some stupid stuff to ourselves, don't we? Huh? God will say, I got this for you. 2 minutes later, after you prayed and meditated on it, you start saying, well, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know that this is going to happen. I better go ahead and go back to that job, that old job I hated. God moved you from that job for a reason, to move you into your next season. So if you're holding on to what God has already released you from, don't blame God if it don't come. Now, I know I'm talking to some entrepreneurs out here that are looking at a paycheck. All right, I'm going to shut up now because I may say something I'm not supposed to say. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though. There's a vision. Stand up. Stand up if there's a true vision on your life right now. Stand up if there's a true calling on your life right now. Stand up if there's something now. Now, here's the thing. I want to know. Thank you, Father. The thing that's scaring you the most is that you know that of your own talents and gifts, it can't happen. You know that the vision, now tell me if it's a small, sit down if it's a small vision. Sit on down. Sit on down if it's a small, so everybody's got a big vision. So that big vision means that you have to have big faith. You have to have big belief. You have to have big trust. You have to know that God is in it and will make it happen. Do you know that? No, y'all don't. I ask you, do you know that? No, y'all don't. That little measly, yeah. Is your vision big? Huh? Somebody has a big corporation. There's a few big. I know some of the visions in here. I know some of the visions in here. And I'm going to tell y'all right now. This is a little joke, but I'm going to tell y'all right now. I know some of the visions in here. Y'all need to get going with that vision. See, because if Yakub gets that production company going, he can tie to it in spirit. And we can have that vision that God gave me in San Diego. When Val finishes with New Breed, and they have movies and entertainment things going on, she can tithe into in spirit And now imagine, we're watching the Academy Awards. I want y'all to imagine this. Close your eyes. Stand up, close your eyes. We're watching the Academy Awards. And up for Producer of the Year, or what is that? That's the picture of the year for the producer, right? They have Valerie Benning Barney. But check this out, y'all. Your eyes closed? Up for the Director of the Year, we have Keith Trix Woodard, Theron Barney, and Yakub. Listen, folks, we will have 3 people going for Director of the Year. It's time that you begin to walk into your vision, and Keith Erdis and Byron Woodard are going for the Composers of the Year in that same Academy Awards. I need you, and wait, hold on. Asmerette and Deanna Joy are going for the Actress of the Year. Come on now. We have that vision in here. And they're going to be interviewed on Lawrence's television station. Listen to me. I need y'all to know that God has a vision for you. But see, you've got to be able to see in the spiritual realm and not so focused on the physical realm. I don't want to hear about what you don't have. I don't want to hear about what you can't do. Because with God, all things are what? Sit on down. All things are what? With God, all things are what? All right, here's the last two. I've been talking about everyone else's vision. But when you have a vision, I want to read this. You need to sow into and pray with others to see their vision realized. You have to be the prayer warrior for someone else's vision. It can't just be about your vision. You need to touch and agree with Stan on his vision. You need to touch and agree with Gary on his vision. I want y'all to look around. Our ministry is only going to be as effective and impactful as we are with each other. Did you hear what I said? It's only going to be as effective and impactful as we are with each other. So I need you to look at someone new and say, you know what? I'm going to be a prayer warrior with you. Now, if you're a prayer warrior with one person, that doesn't mean that they have to be a prayer warrior with you, because they may have had someone else identified. But the thing is, if we're all praying and touching and agreeing together, we will have impact over not only our vision, but we will be able to impact their vision. And then working together, we will have a collective vision that's touching people, provoking thought, and transforming lives. So you need to understand, it ain't all about you. It is about you and God working through you, but God is working through you to touch with someone else. So I don't know who you're going to touch with, but I need some touching going on here at InSpirit. And I need someone, well, I don't need anyone, well, I mean, I'm always open. Terry and I get together for lunch. We're a little late on this, right? But about every 2 weeks. And Val and I need to set our sushi date back up. See, I got some prayer warriors. And sometimes it's not even just talking about your vision. Sometimes it's just touching and agreeing with someone of like mind and like spirit. Sometimes it's just knowing about Terry Thompson getting his black belt and just knowing what he had to go. Well, I got a picture. Y'all asked me for that picture after service. I got a picture of Terry in his black belt demonstration. Y'all mess with me, I'm gonna get Terry on y'all. Then he'll pray for you after he knock you out, all right? All right, hold on. Here we are, the last one. What do we say? God did everything through what? The spoken word. I need you to affirm daily. After you come out of your vision work, I need you to write down a specific affirmation. Listen to me. a specific affirmation for you, affirming what God has in store for you. And this affirmation, I want you to repeat it every single day. And I don't want you to repeat it with doubt. I don't want you to repeat it with fear. I don't want you to repeat it with worry. I want you to repeat it with power, with conviction, with faith, with a knowingness that it's already happened. Because remember, it happens in the spiritual realm before you see it manifest in the physical realm. Don't worry about what you see over here. If you see it in the spiritual realm, you will eventually see it in the physical realm. And you need to speak that word over it. So I want you to speak this with me real quick. And before we speak this, I want you to think about Abraham. How many of y'all know the story about Abraham? Abraham was up in age, had no children. And God said, I'm going to make you a father of many nations. And you know, when you are up in age and you and your wife have never had any children, there's got to be something. But then he made him a father of many nations. Sometimes when God works with you, he may tell you, I need you to leave where you're at. And he did that with Abraham. He asked Abraham to leave where he was at. And some folks are like, I can't leave my family. If God is calling you to something, understand where God is taking you, eventually you'll either be able to bring your family with you, go back to where your family is, but when God is calling you to something, you can't stop because of anything. And I do mean anything. And see, Abraham had that faith. Abraham knew that I'm going to go where God is taking me. And sometimes we have to walk out, not even knowing what the end result is going to look like, but having that vision and having that faith and having that knowingness that God will never lead you to something that is not for your highest good and your greatest joy. So take this affirmation with me. I speak what I spiritually see. I know I will manifest on earth what I see in heaven. Stop. You see, that's why me and this iPad, man. Me and this iPad, I'm like, wait a minute, that ain't how it go. Boy, technology. All right, we're going to start this again. Larry, you're going to be able to edit that out, right? Okay. All right. I spiritually see all my desires manifesting for me. I believe what I spiritually see. I speak what I spiritually see. And I know I will manifest on earth what I see in heaven. Let's do it again. I spiritually see all my desires manifesting for me. I believe what I spiritually see. I speak what I spiritually see. And I know I will manifest on earth what I see in heaven. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. And I want to say it with conviction on this last one. I spiritually see all my desires manifesting for me. I believe what I spiritually see. I speak. I call forth. I affirm. However you want to say that one right there, okay? What I spiritually see. Don't you listen to anybody else. Say what you need to say. All right, here's the last one. And I know I will manifest on earth what I see in heaven. Understand something. The spiritual realm is more powerful than the physical realm. The physical realm has to bow down to the spiritual realm. Has to. Now, if you have any doubt on that, don't even deal in it. Because it ain't going to work if you don't believe it. But I'm telling you right now, the supernatural happens when you know that you're working from spirit, and the physical realm will bow down. I don't care how big your vision is, God is bigger. I don't care how daunting the task is, God is more powerful. And if he's placed that vision in you, he's placed it in you for a specific reason. Don't kill it. Don't deny it. Breathe life into it and see it manifest in your world. I love you.